You know, when I think about my life, there's a war that's raging inside of me. And it's been raging inside of me for as long as I can remember. It's not the kind of war you see on TV or read about in history books. No, this one, it's silent, invisible to everyone else, at least I think, but it's there. Deep down, gnawing at my soul, it's the war between who I am and who I was forced to become, between the boy who was never given a choice and the man who's trying to still make sense of it all. Shame, secrecy. These aren't just words to me. They are assault weapons, weapons of mass destruction. And they've been used against me in ways that most people wouldn't understand as early as 5 and 6 years old. When I was young, something was taken from me. My innocence, my ability to trust, the most importantly, my right to choose who I wanted to be. The choice was stolen, and its place, shame and secrecy moved in like unwelcome guests, taking up residence in my heart and my mind, in my will and my emotions, in my imagination, in my money, in the essence of who I was before I could even articulate or before I could really even spell my name. You see, when someone does something to you like this, something that should have never happened, it leaves a mark, not just on your body, but on your mind, on your spirit. And that mark, that stain of shame, it doesn't wash off easily. Believe me, I try. It sticks to you, making you feel like you're the dirtiest thing, like you're somehow responsible for what happened. It makes you question your worth, your identity, and your right to exist in this world the way you want to. Like, that shame tells you some of the darkest, most demonic lies. And I mean to tell you, those lies are so dark, so demonic that they whisper in your ear that you're broken, that you're less than, that you're not worthy, and that no one could ever love somebody as dirty and nasty as you if they knew the truth. And so you keep it inside. You lock it away in the deepest parts of yourself because the thought of anyone finding out is just too much to bear. But that secrecy, that silence, it's like a poison. It eats away at you, creating this internal war, a battle between the person you were meant to be and the person you've been forced to become. And many of us settle for the version of us that we created in order to survive. See, growing up, I didn't know how to deal with all of this. I didn't even know how to interpret it. So I found ways to cope. Some of them weren't healthy, but they kept me functional. Alcohol became a friend, a way to drown out the noise in my head. Anger became a shield, protecting me from getting hurt again. Isolation and lying made me feel safe because if I kept everyone at distance, if I didn't allow them to see the real me, the me that was ashamed, the me that was scared, the me that was confused, the me that was angry, the me that was broken. But the hardest part, the part that still haunts me till this day, is how that shame and that secrecy shaped my identity. I never got to choose who I wanted to be. I never got to explore my own sexuality, my own desires without the shadow of what happened to me looming over everything. It's like I was living someone else's life, walking a path that wasn't mine, all because I was too afraid, too young, too insecure, too broken to face the truth. I tried to fit in the boxes that society told me I should fit into. I tried to be the man I thought I was supposed to be, but every time I looked in the mirror, every time I looked at myself up and down, I did not recognize the person staring back at me. I was lost in a maze of shame and confusion, and no matter which way I turned, I couldn't find my way out. It took me years, I mean years, decades to realize that I wasn't alone and that it was not my fault, that there were others like me fighting the same internal war, struggling with the same questions about who they were and who they wanted to be. And it was only when I started to talk about it, to break the silence, that I began to heal. But it wasn't, and it still isn't easy. It's like it's an everyday battle, a fight to reclaim my identity, to figure out who I am without the weight of shame dragging me down. But I'm learning that it's okay not to have all the answers. That it's okay to take my time figuring out who I am and who I want to be. I'm learning that my past doesn't define me, that I have the right to choose who I want to be, and that I deserve to live a life free from the chains of secrecy and shame. So here I am, standing at the crossroads of my life, ready to make a choice that was taken from me, taking back my power that was taken from me, reclaiming my mind, my body, my will, my imagination that was stolen from me years ago. I'm choosing to live in my truth, to partner with the divine, to be the man I want to be, that I was created to be before I was formed in my mother's womb, not the man I was forced to become once I got to this hellhole called earth. I'm choosing to end the war inside of me, to lay down the weapons of shame and secrecy, and to embrace the person I am, scars and all, especially realizing some of the weight and the shame and the guilt did not belong to me. Some of it belonged to my father and my father's father, all the way back to the beginning of time. This weight of guilt, of shame, that makes us cover up and hide the beauty of God's creation. I often ask myself, how can I hate what God calls wonderfully and fearfully made? Because in the end, that's what this journey is about. It's about finding the courage to be yourself, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. It's about healing the wounds that were never your fault to begin with, and reclaiming the life that was always yours to live. This is my story, but it's not just mine. It's the story of so many men out there fighting the same battles before they can even get out of the bed and say good morning, fighting the battles, carrying the same burdens. And it's time we start talking about it, not just talking, but creating solutions. It's time to start healing together, one day, one moment, one conversation at a time.